Well, hey guys, welcome back to the shop. So as you saw in the thumbnail, we're getting ready to replace the valve springs on the old Dart. Now, I've been running Edelbrock heads since 2019, and these springs that are on it have been on there since 2019. So they've, gone through 5,500, 6,000 RPM shifts, a lot of road driving, probably 25,000 miles on the road, plus I don't know, a few hundred passes at the track, half of them nitrous passes. So we're shifting normally in the 55, 56 area on nitrous. Been in the almost mid 10s, 10 sixes at 124, on these springs. So, but since they've been on there since 2019, again, the road miles, not so much pain, but by the time you do 4,000, 4,500 RPM burnouts and then, make your passes and everything, we put a lot of abuse on these, springs. Now, these things are only $117 and change. So let's just turn around and jump right into this and show you how to change the valve springs on the car. Now, I've got the engine pretty well stripped down at this point in time. You can see the valve covers are off. The only two rockers I haven't pulled and push rods are these. I just left them on kind of to show you what my valve train does look like. I do have roller rockers on here. So, give me a chance to check them to make sure everything is still good. And, the guide plates and the push rods are all out. Or I'm sorry, all the push rods are all out. You can see I run guide plates on here. So the one thing we're going to do is I rigged this little guy up right here. So I will take this end here, screw it into the spark plug hole. Then I'll hook up an air compressor to this end, and basically, we'll allow air in, and then I'll put the valve, in this position to shut the air off. So that way I've also got a gauge on here so I can see if we're dropping pressure, if I need to induce more air or hurry up and get the valve springs changed out. So one of the things I would recommend, and I've already done this to number 3 cylinder, it goes 1, 3, 5, 7, and then, the other side 2, 4, 6, 8, is put your cylinder to the top of the stroke. So that way, if you happen to lose air pressure for some reason and you've got the retainers out, and you're trying to put the new spring on and the valve just happens to drop for some reason, you should be able to get that valve and lift it back up and, put air pressure back on it and seat it. If you have the, the cylinder or the piston at the, bottom of the bore and something happens, valve's going to drop, and most likely you're not going to be able to get it back up through the guide. You're going to be pulling a cylinder head. So that's why I recommend you bringing your piston all the way up to, top dead, if you will. And then, pressurize it, screw in your tool here, pressurize it, and then, you can swap the valve out. Now, what am I using to swap the valve out? One of these. Now, there's a handle that goes on this end that you, put leverage on it and it'll push the valve down. So there's basically, this will do 7/16 and 3/8 inch studs. So one end is 3/8 and the other end here is 7/16, for example. You just need to knock this pin out. All it is a little C-clip there. Take this, slide it out, flip it around, and then, you can see here what I mean. Maybe you can't. Anyway, there's another pin down here, or hole opening that goes across, that you can run that pin in to flip it around. And basically, you just screw it onto the stud, That'll go on like so. You'll take your lever, push down on the valve, and knock the springs loose, or the keepers loose. So a buddy of mine was telling me, I've not done this before, is after I pressurize it, take a rubber mallet, knock the spring a couple of times on the retainer here to kind of get those loose, if you will, and then, push on it so you can pull the retainer and the clips out and then, or the valve keepers, right? Then you can pull the spring off, put the new spring on, put the retainer back on, and set the valve keepers back in. Now, if you have not replaced your valve seals recently, now's a good time to go ahead and put new valve seals on while you're at it. So not only can you do your valve seals, you can do your springs and all that. So that's just kind of a couple of talking points, right? So here's the tool that I rigged up. Like I said, using part of my compression gauge, you know, an old gauge here and set up for like controlling your air compressor, just some fittings, a valve, something cheap that I can make. You can buy, I'll put in a link to Amazon for just the hose that you can buy with a valve on it, if that's what you want to do. You know, or here it is laid out a little bit more better so you can see it. Yeah, if you're going to use your compression gauge to modify it to work like I did, make sure you remove the little Schrader valve here, because otherwise air will not be able to flow this way. But you know, air can only go this way in its seats when you're doing your compression test. So you need to remove that little tire valve to do that. All right, guys, so I just finished cylinder number 3, and I will actually video how I did this. So one thing to note is when I put the stud on here, you know, so when doing this, I had to flatten these out so I could get a little bit more onto the spring to press it down. But also you can see I've got this adjusted down quite a way so I can push that spring down and to be able to get the retaining clips out, right? The keepers here out. So to do that, it was a combination of a really small screwdriver, and a magnet to kind of pick them out. And what I had to do is as I put the pressure on, you know, the retainer here to push it down, then I smacked it with a rubber mallet to kind of help get them dislodged while I was putting pressure on. And then, you know, I was able to, you know, knock these out and do that. You can see there I've also got a cloth. Make sure you put something there so in case you drop a retainer, it doesn't go in there. I probably should put them over here, you know, as well, in case one goes flying. But and just so you guys know, right now my big compressor is not wired up. I'm just using this little compressor, and with 60 pounds of air at this point in time on here, you know, the valve is going down a little bit, you know, as I pushed out on the spring. But once I whack it and I get that to come loose, then, you know, the valve stays up, not a problem. Then I was able to change these two out. So let me go ahead and I'll try to get the camera in here to show you guys this. So first thing I'm gonna do is put this cylinder all the way up, and then, you know, I'll video how I did that. Hopefully you don't see me screw up. one thing I end up doing, guys, is this is the little pin, right, that came in and went here. Because it was quicker for me actually to just go like this, lift this off, change the spring out once I had the retainers out, slip it back in, go like that, grab the handle, right, push on it, and put the keepers back in. And then I could quickly go like this, unscrew it, screw it on the next stud, right, slip it back on here, run the screwdriver through, put my handle up here, right, and do the next valve. So just another little quick tip if you guys want to do that. So guys, I did the rest of them. I didn't think you needed me to do a time lapse to show you how to do them all. But it went really easy, went nice and smooth. That little compressor did just fine. I did crank up the pressure a little bit more. You know, there was a couple of times the valve went down a little bit and I just kind of lifted it back up and then it sealed back up. That was on the initial, you know, pushing down to try to get the keepers loose. And once in a while you might see the engine rotate a little bit, or you might see, if you're running a carburetor, a little air kind of push up, you know, back through the carburetor because you're, you know, got a valve open and you're shoving, you know, either through the intake or the exhaust, right? So don't be alarmed by that. It's the way it happens. So I hope this video kind of shows you how you can change the valve springs on your car. You know, now I got to go through and put all the rockers back on and the push rods and everything and set all the adjustments and whatnot. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. You know, if you've done a small block Chevy, it's basically the same thing, right? It's more or less just set your push rod in there, set your rocker on there based on where your timing marks are, right? You know, if you've got the every 90 degrees you turn your wheel, and you know, cylinders this and that, you know, you set the you know, valve lash to that. You set your rocker and then tighten your nut down, poly lock down. I'm not going to go through all that, guys. I've got other videos where I've done that kind of stuff. But anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this helps you. You can see how easy it was. I'll put the link in here to the tool that I used. Basically, you need that, like a little magnet, you know, so you can get the keepers out, a rubber mallet, and some common sense and a little patience really is all you need. And you can do the same thing. So thanks for watching, guys. If you want to do something stupid like me, then go ahead and give it a whirl. Anyway, we'll talk to you guys later.